Ohio Valley Outdoors Magazine is your local hunting and fishing authority. Up-to-date hunting and fishing info, how-to articles, and latest outdoor gear and equipment. Ohio Valley Outdoors Magazine will make your outdoors experience the best ever. Subscribe today for only $14.95. You'll receive 6 issues packed with the outdoors info you can relate to. Call 330-385-2243 or visit our website, www.ohiovalley.outdoors.com. Ohio Valley Outdoors Magazine, your local hunting and fishing authority.
Welcome back to the Ohio Valley Outdoors Show on ESPN 1240 and News Talk 600. Hey, Larry, I got some great news. There's a brand new sporting goods shop in New Cumberland, West Virginia.
That's great.
Yeah, it's Orca Outdoors. They're also involved with the Ohio River Catfish Association. They're going to be having some fantastic catfishing tournaments coming up in the spring. But, hey, if you want to stop by Orca Outdoors, they're at 607 North Chester Street, right there by the plaza, and that's Route 2 for everybody that's not familiar with the name Chester Street. But right now they've got some great specials on Carhartt clothing and Rocky boots. So stop by Orca Outdoors, 607 North Chester Street in New Cumberland, West Virginia. And if you want, you could probably even give them a call down there. The phone number is 304-564-7072. Let's get back with our guest, Shane Eisenhower. Shane, we were talking about the new Beretta waterfowl gun, and what's the specific model of that?
A400 Extreme.
Mm-hmm. And you mentioned that it shoots just about any shell out there. I know a couple of shows back we had Tim Brandt from Federal Premium Ammunition on the show. He was talking about the new Black Cloud waterfowls. Have you tried those?
Yes, sir, I have, and they live up to the hype.
Okay,
awesome.
Now, but what are some of your favorite shells?
That is, as of a couple years ago, that's been one of my favorite shells to shoot. I also shoot heavy shot and heavy steel, but that's about the main two that I shoot pretty on a regular basis.
Okay. And now you were mentioning the Knock 'em Stiff, KES waterfowlers. They got some new calls out?
Yeah, we got 2 new calls out right now. It's the Migration Ender, which is a goose call, and we've got the Hellraiser, which is a new duck call. The Migration Ender it's a new short reed goose call, which virtually anybody can blow. We've made it where anybody out there, even novice, starting out goose hunting, novice hunters can blow. It really has a lot of realism of a goose. It gets all those goosey sounds. It's fast and responsive, and it will hit every note you throw at it on the stage or in the field.
Wow.
Now, as far as our duck call, the Hellraiser, it's very loud, very responsive, and creates real duck tones up and down the board.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
Now, and you mentioned it was a short reed call?
A short reed goose call, yep.
And
it's
what difference does that make?
Well, short reeds are more realistic sounding goose calls than, like, say, the long barrel goose calls or the flute calls.
Okay.
People have gone to the short reed goose calls because they're more versatile. You can do more with them. You can make more sounds with them than you could with the flute calls. They're a little bit harder to blow and take a lot more training and a lot more calling to get to master them. But once you get there, they are by far the elite calls on the market right now.
Okay,
that's great. Real quick, Shane, we're talking about KES waterfowlers. We have to give a shout out to Chris Wright, who was one of the founders of that, and he was my connection to get to you. So we do appreciate Chris, and he's actually written some articles for our Ohio Valley Outdoors magazine too. So just wanted to mention that, Shane.
Yeah, if you say so. No, yeah, he's a super guy. I mean, I've known Chris for several years now, and you can't beat him with what he's doing and what we're doing now with KES as far as getting the kids out in the field and the veterans doing things for the veterans. KES is just a standout company.
That's great. And
Tell us a little bit more about that. The activities with getting youth involved and the veterans, because those are two very popular topics amongst all outdoors. And let's face it, we need to appreciate our veterans, and we also need to get a lot more young people out in the woods.
That's for sure. Right now, we try to take any kids we can. We try to dedicate certain hunts to take kids out in the field, to take them and let them show, what it's all about, what you can do out in the field, how to be safe, how you can have fun in the field where you don't have to sit in a deer stand by yourself and be quiet. You can talk amongst, just have good camaraderie.
Mm-hmm.
And with the veterans, we try to take veterans out because, face it, that's the least we can do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're right, Shane.
I mean, they've put themselves on the line for us. The least we can do is give them a little bit of our time to put them in the field to give them some satisfaction or give them some time away from what they do.
Yeah,
great.
Very, very important there, both the youth and the veterans. Now, you're also involved with Flambeau. What's going on with them, with waterfowl?
Right now, they've got a new goose decoy out, full-body goose decoy. It's a stormfront decoy. And they've had the stormfront duck decoy out for a while, a floating decoy, which has the UV, the U vision on it, which humans can't see it. It's like the fourth cone in the eye.
Yeah.
Humans only have 3 cones. It's very impressive. But their new goose decoy is called the Stormfront Canada Honkers. And they are some of the most natural and innovative body styles and positions I've ever seen. And they were carved by world champion carver Richard Smoker.
Mm-hmm.
These decoys, they're featured with flocked heads, but you can get them without flocked heads. Of course, the U-Vision paint and the ultra smooth, and it locks. It's a motion base to give realism to the decoy while it's sitting out in the field. I don't think you'll find a more universal lineup anywhere out there.
Wow, that sounds like an incredible product. I'm always interested in. You mentioned, the difference between a human's eye and the bird's eye with the 4 cone receptors. What does that UV finish do? Does it provide a stronger silhouette? Is it more visible from distance for the bird?
What the UV does is it gives the birds a more ease feeling. Like the regular decoys don't have the U vision, so they get more alert of the decoys. They automatically assume something's wrong.
I see.
I mean, even though they still work with the decoys, you got to work a lot harder to bring birds in with the older decoys, because as soon as they see them, they're always on alert. They think there's ducks down there, but they think something's wrong. Now, with the UV, it's a more settling, more easy approach for the ducks to come into the decoys.
So it looks more natural to them.
Yes.
Oh,
A lot
wow.
more natural.
Hey, if our listeners had any questions, Shane, how could they contact you?
KESwaterfowlers.com. They can contact myself or Chris right there. Facebook, we're on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
Or our phone numbers are on the website, or I can give them to you now.
Yeah, what are the numbers?
My number is 304-590-2618.
Mm-hmm.
And Chris Wright is 614-260-0464.
Okay, and then how about Beretta? They can just Google Beretta, and that'll come up, right?
Yes, or they can go to extremeduckers.com.
Okay, and same thing with Ducks Unlimited?
Ducks Unlimited, yes, and there's a tab up at the top once you get on the homepage of Ducks Unlimited to pick whatever state you want to look at.
Okay.
That's great.
I also want to throw in there, Ducks Unlimited has a great migration map right now. You can go on this migration map and click on the little bubbles they got on there, and it gives reports of different areas in the United States to let you know what kind of birds are in the area and so on and so forth.
Oh, that's awesome.
Wow, that's a fantastic tip. Shane, hey, we want to thank you so much for coming on the show, and I think we're going to have you back sometime in the future.
Oh, anytime. I also want to give a shout-out to Aaron's Outdoors. We're now part of Aaron's Outdoors, and the Brannons, they do some really good stuff down south.
Well, that's a great tip, too. Hey, Shane, thanks, and have a great waterfowl season.
You too. Thank you.
Thanks, Shane. You're listening to the Ohio Valley Outdoors Show. John, I wanted to talk real quick about